back to Weekly Guitar Videos, everybody. I'm Neil, and today, got something special for you guys. This is the Danelectro semi-hollow 12-string. Now, a little backstory from me. I've always really loved the sound of the 12-string. I grew up listening to a lot of early Beatles, a lot of Byrds, and something about the sound of those Rickenbacker 12 strings those guys played just really resonated with me. And I've searched and searched for an electric 12 for a long time that wasn't going to break the bank and that sounded good. Because I've picked up a lot of 12 string guitars that sounded really bad. They were at a low price point and it really reflected it. Enter the Danelectro. So I've always really dug what Danelectro did. Whether it was the early ones, whether it's the newer reissues, they've really stayed true to who they are, and they've expanded their lineup some, but at their core, they're still affordable guitars that are pretty darn good quality. So much like the old ones you see, you have these, they call them lipstick pickups, so-called because they look like lipstick tubes on the new ones. On the old ones, they actually were lipstick tubes, so that's kind of cool. They would source products like that to keep costs down. And that's really the thing. So basically this is a $450 guitar, I think, right in that range. And it really does that electric 12 thing. And I am really kind of surprised at this price point that Danelectro's been able to do this. I'm really impressed. But it's got that 60s jangle in spades, you know? There's the obligatory Byrds lick in any 12-string video ever, I know. But it really kind of showcases that 60s 12-string jangle in it. Something about it really, you know. It's been a hard day's night. It sounds really good. I'm just kind of blown away by it. I've picked up more expensive 12 strings than this that really didn't cut it. And this is running dry into just a little vintage Champ. And great little amp, but that's no effects anything. It just sounds great. And I don't know, I think I'm just gonna play it a little more and just let you guys hear what I'm talking about. Semi-hollow body makes it really resonant. It really fills a lot of space in a band. I went and played probably a good half a set on this thing, and it's a 4-piece band, 2 guitars, drums and bass, everybody sings. And it just had that extra little something. I remember we played, one of our standards is the Breakup Song by Great King Band. And that's played on a 6-string, but I picked up the 12-string and played that riff and went, oh man, you know. I know it really, in a kind of a smaller ensemble like that, there's not a lot of really dense stuff going on. I'm the lead guitar player, and then there's a rhythm guitar player, kind of a busy rhythm section, and something about it kind of feels a little extra something. That, you know, all those extra octaves up top. That's another thing, it holds tune really well for being a little on the cheaper side of 12 strings. That can be a real complaint, is I can never keep them in tune, and it's such a hassle up top. And I will say, it takes a little bit to get used to. You play your low E string and you would think the low one would be first, it's not, the high octave. But it really, once I adjusted to it, it's really kind of grown on me, kind of really become a part of my sound. And, you know, one I always think of, just being the rabid Seabury Vaughan fan I am, is Rude Mood. That was originally a 12-string electric, a 6-string electric, that he played 12-string acoustic a little bit sometimes, and I loved how it fit the song. Still in tune. So I'm just really kind of floored with this thing, and it's really starting to really hold its own, you know. Okay, obligatory Hotel California now. Just that it's got this crystalline top end with those high octaves that really fills things out. And you can see why guys were using them in the 60s to get those kind of sounds. And like you hear George Harrison played his rick all over that era Beatles 63 to 65. What's the one? Anytime at all. Anytime at all. This big sound from just one guy playing a guitar. Another one of the Beatles tunes that I listened to for a long time, didn't realize it was a 12-string, was Slow Down. You do with 12 strings a lot is get a little grit in their amp. And when you're trying to emulate that 60s 12 string thing, they were cranking up their amps. So you naturally are kind of pushing your amp a little more with that many strings anyway, but I mean, that's that's fairly dirty. Now let's talk a little bit about how the pickups work, because it's not like you'd think. It's deceptively simple, but basically, all the way down is your bridge pickup. Everyone knows that, but what's strange is the middle position is the full output of both pickups. They're wired in series rather than parallel. So one into the other. And so it really boosts your signal when you kick up into the middle one rather than a blend of the two, like most, which are wired in parallel. So that's kind of a cool thing. That's a really, really punchy tone with a lot of depth to it on the other side of the coin. Neck pickup is pretty. Gives you that warm thing. You bring your tone down. I kind of like that sound. One thing I always think of with the 12 string is still got to tune every once in a while. It's the nature of the beast, but for any of my Pink Floyd fans, they use a lot of 12 string as not the lead instrument, but just to fill things out. Another one I always think of is, Hey You. And I'm an absolute Beatles fanatic, so sorry about that, but I really love what they did in such a short span of time. And like, you can hear George Harrison and John Lennon play their 12 strings all over, like, Help. That record has so much 12 string on it, but like, I want to think of, it's actually on an acoustic, which some of these are, is John Lennon playing I've Just Seen a Face. I love that little lead he does. Let me try that again. It's impossible to get those sounds without a good 12 string. And so it's a really neat thing to have in your arsenal, and it really just brings a smile to my face every time I play it. And it doesn't work for everything, and you can definitely overuse it, which I've kind of been doing lately just because I love the sound of it so much. And it's not too narrow on the neck on this one, so you can access the strings pretty well. You still are going to want to keep your fingernails trimmed just like you would on a 6 string, but it's even more important too on a 12. I've let mine get a little bit long, and it's a little, just a little kind of choking out sometimes. But overall, I'm really impressed. So I might have to delve into some more Danelectros. I've wanted their baritone for a long time too. But yeah, I'm really excited about this thing. There's another one, Zeppelin. Lest I delve into too many cliches. Okay, now that I've played Stairway and nobody's watching anymore, I'm Neil for Weekly Guitar Videos. Hope you enjoyed my review of this Danelectro 12. We'll see you next time.